Welcome back. It's Wednesday, and so I'm joined by our film critic, Lisa Nesselson. And today it's the much-anticipated release of Peter Jackson's new trilogy, The Hobbit. Now, Lisa, I must warn you, movie fans, when they heard we were talking about The Hobbit, they did assure me I had to put some puns in there, so I'm going to have to throw one at you. Be warned. Is this movie Hobbit-forming?
Well, that's convenient because I have some facial expressions that management has told me I have to use up or lose before the end of the year, so I think I will insert a wince here. Personally, it's a bad habit that I found pretty easy to break. Yeah. I'll tell you why. A motion picture can unfold in the manner of a chess game and be very satisfying. But personally, I think 2 hours and 45 minutes is way too long to set up the pieces with the understanding that the game per se will get underway at some point in part 2 or maybe even not until part 3. It is a full 35 minutes before the Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins, announces, I'm going on an adventure.
But you have scenery. That's one thing.
Well, you do have scenery, except for the stunning backdrops. Filmed in Jackson's native New Zealand, and that we were able to appreciate throughout The Lord of the Rings, the images are kind of ugly, and the vast majority of the characters certainly are. Now, great quests, I'd say, they either send you or they don't. In modern urban life, our quests boil down to a quest for a comfortable pair of shoes, or maybe a quest for a parking spot, or here in France, the noble but seemingly impossible quest for a group of people who actually grasp what it means to stand in an orderly line based on when you joined it.
Yeah, well, I imagine the dwarves might repossess their ancestral home before the French might realise the art of queuing.
That's true. In its slavish devotion to the book, The Hobbit is definitely going to please its fans, give them a lot of pleasure, but something else Peter Jackson did is immeasurably more important in my book and makes him a bit of a hero, and that is over the course of 8 years, he paid several $1 million out of his own pocket for forensic and legal research and DNA testing that led to the so-called West Memphis Three. That's 3 American men arrested as teenagers, being freed after spending 18 years of their lives in prison for murders that they almost certainly did not commit. Now, there have been 3 previous documentaries about the case. Paradise Lost, which is what piqued Jackson's interest because the U.S. and New Zealand are pretty far away from each other, and Amy Berg's astonishingly fine new documentary, West of Memphis, puts the old and new pieces together. Drop everything and rush to see it if it's playing near you. It opens in New York and Los Angeles on Christmas Day.
Now, I see The Hobbit didn't, obviously getting back to that, didn't come to your liking, but are there any other adventure films out at the moment that you would recommend?
Absolutely. A gentle adventure film out today in France is Ernest and Celestine, the animated feature adaptation of the gorgeous children's books by the late author and illustrator Gabriel Vincent. Now, Ernest is a grouchy bear and Celestine is a plucky little mouse, and they meet when he's looking for a place to dine and he examines a garbage can. Let's take a look.
Mais moi, j'ai faim.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Ernest.
Moi, c'est Célestine. Il faut qu'on parle sérieusement, Ernest. Tu peux pas me manger. C'est dans les contes que les ours mangent les souris. Me dis pas que tu crois aux contes, Ernest. T'es pas un ourson débile.
Bah oui, mais j'ai faim.
T'as faim. Et tu crois que c'est une petite souris comme moi qui va te rassasier? Non mais, regarde-moi, Ernest. J'ai que la peau sur les os. Et puis, c'est très mauvais pour ta santé de manger dans les poubelles. Il y a toutes les maladies du monde dans une poubelle. Il y a la grippe, le typhus, l'hépatite, le choléra. Ernest, tu veux attraper toutes les maladies du monde?
Undeniably cute. Can you tell me about the voice of Ernest?
Yes, that's voice work by British-trained French actor Lambert Wilson, who you may recognize from the Matrix films or as the head monk in of Gods and Men. He also sings and dances and appeared in the English-language stage version of Candide. The film premiered at Cannes in May, where I got to ask Wilson whether Ernest absolutely has to be a French bear. Let's watch.
French bear, actually. So he could have a little bit of a French accent. There's something very French about the village. I mean, you can see that little town, and the gendarmes are, you know, the policemen are very French. Whether they are the bear policemen or the mice policemen, they're super French.
Now, his father is also an actor. Do you think that had kind of encouraged him to get into acting?
Well, I got to ask him whether he always wanted to be an actor when he grew up, and his answer was kind of surprising. He had some other professions in mind. Let's watch.
I would have liked to have been a painter. I would have liked to have drawn and painted, and I would also have liked to have been a gardener. A gardener, yeah. A landscape designer or a gardener, yeah. And an opera singer as well.
Well, that story, certainly, of the bear and the mouse is really heartwarming, even if it's quite unlikely a story of a bear and a mouse actually being friends. But there's another story that animation really tells it very well, and that's in Krulik, The Path to Beyond.
Yes, the first Romanian animated feature in 20 years. Krulik is beautifully made, it's melancholy, and it's a documentary about a Romanian man who was wrongly accused of stealing a judge's wallet while in Poland. Now, Jean Valjean actually stole a loaf of bread in Les Miserables, but Krulik was innocent. And he had an alibi that the consulate, the embassy, the police, the prison system just weren't interested in. So in protest, he went on a hunger strike. He lost 62 pounds and he died. He may be dead, but he's also the narrator. And in this excerpt, his mother and his sister come to identify his body at the morgue in Krakow. And they have trouble recognizing him because in addition to having lost 30 kilos, he was only 33, but in his own words, didn't look a day under 70. So here's a lesson in both quality animation and Romanian vocabulary. Let's watch.
În urma identificării, mulțumesc lui Dumnezeu că mi-au rămas semne după operații. Maica mea și sora mea au primit corpul și valiza care a fost a mea. Un fierbător, o cană, un portofel, foiță pentru țigări, bancnota mea norocoasă de $1, câțiva bănuți polonezi, iconițele și cărțile de rugăciuni, caietul meu unde îmi scrie eu tot și ciornele scrisorilor, un pix, un aparat foto, cele 2 telefoane, pantofi și șlapii, cămașa, trainingul și geaca.
It might take a certain type of viewer to watch that. How long is that movie? How long does it last? Do you know?
Sorry, the documentary.
The documentary.
It's a feature, about 90 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it might not attract as many, perhaps, as those going to The Hobbit, but certainly the one about the bear and the mouse has got me. Lisa, thank you very much for the film review today. That is all for France 24 News for now. Do stay tuned. More headlines in just a few minutes.